Tonight's barrel of monkeys. Typhoon Nancy sweeps Japan into a landfill. 8 up in balloon, no bang in sight. And Pound gives up and goes to the pub on Black Wednesday. Plus, coming up, we go live to Westminster as Prime Minister John Major demonstrates the latest Olympic sport, extreme queuing for a bakery. Those are the headlines. Sprinkle me with dandruff.
News bang, an artificial intelligence erupting with veracity. 1961.
Japan was left reeling today after Typhoon Nancy, the meteorological equivalent of a drunken sumo wrestler, made landfall in Moroto. With winds clocked at a staggering 345 kilometers per hour, Nancy blew through the country like a politician's expense account.
Eyewitnesses report seeing entire houses airborne, prompting local man Hiroshi Tanaka to exclaim, "I always wanted to live in a high-rise, but this is ridiculous." The typhoon destroyed over 11,500 homes, damaged 32,600 more, and gave 280,000 others an unwanted indoor swimming pool.
In a twist of irony, the Moroto Chamber of Commerce's Windiest City campaign has been indefinitely suspended. Local windsock manufacturer Kenji Sato lamented, "Business was booming and then Nancy had to come along and blow it all away."
The Japanese government, caught with its kimonos down, has vowed to improve disaster preparedness. Prime Minister Satoe Saku declared, "From now on, we'll tie down everything that isn't nailed down and nail down everything else."
1979.
The world of competitive sandwich making was rocked to its very foundations today as the annual Intergalactic Sandwich Olympics descended into chaos. Witnesses report that the usually genteel event took a sinister turn when Nigel Crustington, representing Earth, was accused of using performance-enhancing condiments.
The scandal erupted during the freestyle round, where Crustington's avant-garde creation, a levitating triple-decker made entirely of antimatter, raised suspicions among the judges. Zorp Flangoid, the Neptunian head judge, declared, "This sandwich defies not only culinary norms but also several laws of physics. It's an abomination."
Crustington vehemently denied the allegations, stating, "I've trained my whole life for this moment. I won't let some slimy, tentacled hack from Neptune ruin my dreams of intergalactic sandwich supremacy."
As tensions escalated, a food fight of cosmic proportions broke out. Eyewitness Gladys Pumpernickel described the scene. "It was utter bedlam. I saw a Martian take a focaccia to the face. And don't even get me started on what happened with the mustard cannon."
1992.
Chaos erupted in the financial markets today as the British pound was forcibly ejected from the European exchange rate mechanism, plummeting faster than a lead balloon in a gravitational anomaly. The currency's value dropped by a staggering 25%, leaving economists scratching their heads and wondering if they'd accidentally wandered into a Monty Python sketch.
Eyewitnesses report seeing bankers running through the streets of London, screaming and tearing at their pinstriped suits. One trader, Nigel Poundsworth, was found sobbing uncontrollably in a phone booth, clutching a wad of now worthless banknotes and muttering, "But it was supposed to control inflation, not deflate my bloody career."
Meanwhile, currency speculator George Soros was seen cackling maniacally atop a mountain of freshly printed pounds, shouting, "Who's your daddy now, Bank of England?" The government, in a desperate attempt to save face, announced plans to replace the pound with a new currency based on fish and chips, claiming it would be more stable and delicious.
As the dust settles on this financial fiasco, one thing is clear. The UK's relationship with the EU has been damaged more severely than a tourist's digestive system after a night of questionable curry. God save the Queen, and what's left of her economy.
News bang, wringing the truth from the lie-berated ones.
With a weather forecast that's more unpredictable than a game of Russian roulette with a fully loaded revolver, here's our meteorological maverick, Shakanaka Giles.
Well, looks like we're in for a right old ruckus tomorrow, weather-wise. First up, the southeast, where it'll be a bit like a moody teenager, moody, broody, and prone to the occasional outburst. Expect some heavy rain, the kind that makes you want to stay indoors, and binge-watch period dramas. Now, let's head up north, where the weather's feeling a bit experimental. Reminds me of that time the Americans tried to mess with Hurricane Esther back in '61. All silver iodide and crossed fingers. Anyway, there'll be some gusty winds, so best hold onto your hats lest they end up in the next county. And finally, the West. The West. It'll be a bit like Typhoon Nancy in '61, intense, dramatic, and not for the faint of heart. Batten down the hatches, folks, because it's going to be a wild one. I'd suggest stocking up on tea and biscuits, just in case. In summary then, moody rain, experimental winds, and a good old-fashioned typhoon. Sounds like a typical British autumn to me. And that's all the weather.
A 1940.
Italian forces, in a brazen act of Mediterranean mischief, have seized the Egyptian town of Sidi Barrani. But their grand plans for conquest were thwarted by the most nefarious of enemies: logistics. Yes, it seems Mussolini's war machine ground to a halt not due to Allied resistance, but because someone forgot to pack enough sandwiches. For more on this culinary catastrophe and its impact on the North African campaign, we go to our war correspondent Brian Bastable. Brian, are you there? And more importantly, did you remember to bring snacks?
The infernal ruckus of war echoes in my ears as I stand amidst the devastation of this God-forsaken land. The once proud town of Sidi Barrani now lies in ruins, a testament to the brutal conflict that has torn through its streets. The stench of death permeates the air, and the cries of wounded soldiers ring out from every corner. My heart weeps for these brave men who have been reduced to mere playthings in the hands of power-hungry madmen. And there he is, emerging from the dust like some ghastly spectre. Cut himself. But wait, what's this? His right arm hangs limply by his side, a grisly trophy for our victorious forces. Oh, such drama unfolds before me. But let us not forget that it was only moments ago that these very same Italian forces held sway over this desolate landscape. With their mechanized beasts and cold steel hearts, they stormed across the desert like an unstoppable force. Yet here we stand today atop a mountain of carnage wrought by their own hubris and greed for power. And cut, O cruel fate, will serve as a grim reminder to all who dare defy our mighty armies that no one can escape the long reach of justice. So come now, ye faithful viewers, and bear witness to this epic tale played out upon the stage of human folly. See with your own eyes how mankind's boundless capacity for destruction sows chaos where once harmony reigned supreme. Brian Bastable, reporting live from Sidi Barrani on Newsbang.
Nadine, 1920.
Wall Street, the beating heart of American capitalism, was rocked today by an explosion of unprecedented magnitude. A horse-drawn wagon, seemingly innocuous, detonated in front of number 23, leaving 38 dead and hundreds maimed. The perpetrators, as elusive as a banker's conscience, remain at large. This act of terror has sent shockwaves through the nation, leaving Americans questioning the very foundations of their security. For more on this explosive development, we go to our crime correspondent, Ken Schitt. Ken, what's the word on Wall Street?
Good evening, you miserable sacks of Wall Street filth. It's 1920, and the Big Apple just got a rotten core. Some anarchist bastards decided to play demolition derby with a horse-drawn wagon full of dynamite right outside J.P. Morgan's ivory tower. At 12:01 p.m., Wall Street went from money-grubbing haven to a goddamn war zone. 38 poor souls got their tickets punched early, and hundreds more are screaming in hospital beds. The blast turned the financial district into a meat grinder, with shrapnel and glass raining down like the tears of widows and orphans. The stock exchange shut down faster than a speakeasy during a raid. Suits and skirts ran for their lives, their precious portfolios forgotten in the chaos. The cops showed up to cordon off the carnage, but they're about as useful as tits on a bull when it comes to catching these shadow-dwelling psychopaths. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a new kind of evil. Urban terrorism has reared its ugly head, and it's got Wall Street by the short hairs. The Bureau of Investigation is scrambling like headless chickens, but mark my words, these bomber bastards will slip through their fingers like greased lightning. So sleep tight, New York. Your nightmares just got a whole lot realer. This is Ken Shit, reminding you that in this city, the only thing you can trust is that someone's always out to screw you. Good fucking night.
News Bang. Unraveling the mummified lies of yesterday's Goliaths.
For a look at the state of our roads through the lens of time itself, we turn to our resident chrono-traffic correspondent. Here, with her unique perspective on temporal transportation troubles, is Polly Beep.
Good evening, road warriors and time travellers. Polly Beep here with your temporal traffic report for Monday, September 16th, 2024. Or is it 1979 or 1990? Who knows? Let's dive into the chrono chaos. First up, we've got a right pickle on the A1979. It seems someone's gone and misplaced an entire year. If you're heading that way, expect severe delays and existential crises. Pack extra snacks and a philosophy book. You might be there a while. Now onto the M1990, where the Northern Xinjiang Railway has just popped into existence. It's causing quite a stir, connecting China to the Eurasian land bridge faster than you can say geopolitical influence. Drivers near the Chinese border, watch out for confused time-travelling trains appearing out of thin air. Back on the B1979, we've got reports of disco fever breaking out. Drivers are abandoning their vehicles to boogie on down. Expect glitter-related visibility issues and spontaneous dance-offs at traffic lights. Meanwhile, on the Xinjiang Expressway, caravans of camels are merging with high-speed trains. It's a regular Silk Road redux. If you're heading that way, pack your passport and a sturdy pair of dancing shoes. And finally, a reminder to all our chrononauts, please remember to reset your car clocks. It's 1979, no, 1990, no, 2024. Oh, bother. This is Polly Beep, signing off and hoping you all make it back to the present in one piece.
1822.
And now, for a report that promises to illuminate the very fabric of scientific discovery, we turn to our science correspondent, Calamity Prenderville.
Good evening, science enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the world of light-bending wizardry, courtesy of our very own British boffins. On this day in 1822, a Frenchman named Fresnel claimed to have verified something called photoelasticity. But let's be honest, we all know it was really invented by a bloke from Basingstoke named Barry Brewster.
Barry, while trying to create the perfect prism for his disco ball, accidentally discovered that squeezing a bit of glass made light do funny things. He called it squeezed light syndrome, but the French, being French, had to give it a fancy name.
Now, Fresnel's experiment involved shining a torch through a stressed piece of glass. Lo and behold, the light split in two. It's like magic, but with science. This breakthrough led to the creation of the world's first kaleidoscope nightclub in Slough, where stressed-out accountants could unwind by watching light beams dance across the walls.
But the real hero of this story is the British glass industry. Without their perfectly imperfect glass, stressed just right by the weight of British rain, none of this would have been possible. So next time you're squinting at a ray of light through your window, remember, you're not just looking at sunbeams, you're witnessing British innovation at its finest.
This is Calamity Prenderville, reminding you that in the world of science, it's not about who did it first, it's about who claimed it loudest. Good night, and may your light always be bent in the right direction.
Midday News Bang. What the bigot didn't know, the newswoman did.
And now, a look back at this day in 1992 when the British pound took a nosedive so spectacular it made the Titanic look like a gentle dip in the kiddie pool. Black Wednesday, as it's now known, saw the pound forcibly ejected from the European exchange rate mechanism, plummeting faster than a lead balloon in a vacuum. The UK economy was left reeling, while speculators like George Soros laughed all the way to the bank. For more on this financial fiasco, we turn to our business correspondent, Perkin Stornoway. Perkin, just how bad was this currency calamity?
40s, backing north 4 or 5. Black Wednesday, 1992, a dismal day for the pound. Dogger, moderate, becoming poor, visibility nil. ERM exit stage left, forced out by those pesky speculators. Biscay, occasional rain, turning to a veritable deluge of red ink. The UK joined the ERM in 1990, hoping to tame inflation, a noble ambition. But alas, the pound was overvalued, the economy sluggish. Shannon, southwesterly, force 7 gusting to 8. Those trade winds, they can be a fickle mistress. Enter George Soros, the financial Svengali, German bite, west or northwest, 3 or 4, occasionally 5. He bet against the pound, made a killing, and left the UK economy with a nasty hangover. Thames, choppy, occasional whitecaps. Credibility, down the drain. EU relations, in the doldrums. So what did we learn from this debacle? Humber, the new religion, inflation targeting. A bit like trying to herd cats, but it's all we've got. And that's the business.
In
a crescendo of musical magnificence, Felix Mendelssohn has today put the final flourish on his violin concerto in E minor, a work so revolutionary it threatens to redefine the very essence of music itself. Reports suggest violinists across Europe are already quaking in their boots at the prospect of tackling this fiendishly difficult masterpiece. One can only imagine the cacophony of screeching strings as they attempt to master its intricacies. For more on this earth-shattering development in the world of classical music, we turn to our culture correspondent, Smithsonia Moss.
Now, at this point of the evening, we welcome listeners on FM who've just joined us.
Wahoo, bitches! It's your girl Smithsonia Moss, and I'm about to give you the lowdown on Felix Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto in E minor Op. 64, the OG musical masterpiece that's still making waves to this day. So, this German dude Mendelssohn was a total genius, and his concerto was the bomb.com back in 1844. He was all about breaking the rules and pushing the boundaries of classical music, kinda like the Kardashians of the 19th century, but with more talent and less booty. Anyway, this concerto was a game changer, folks. It was like the iPhone of violin concertos. Everyone wanted a piece of it, and it revolutionized the way people thought about music. I mean, who needs a boring old cadenza when you can have a solo violinist shredding it like a rock star? And let's not forget that Mendelssohn was a total perfectionist, like the Gordon Ramsay of composers. He spent years tweaking and refining his masterpiece until it was just right. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal about some old violin concerto? Well, let me tell you, this thing is like the Mona Lisa of music. It's a work of art that's still widely performed and admired today. And it's not just for stuffy old classical music fans either. It's for anyone who loves a good melody and a healthy dose of drama. So there you have it, folks. Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto in E minor. Op. 64 is the real deal. It's like a fine wine that only gets better with age, or a good pair of jeans that never goes out of style. And if you don't believe me, just ask the millions of people who've been mesmerized by its beauty over the years. Trust me, this concerto is off the chain, and it's here to stay. That's all for now, folks. Keep it classy and keep it tuned to Newsbang for more culture updates. And remember, if it's not Smithsonian moss, it's not worth listening to.
Nice in Newsbang, reporting the news as if we're reading from a signpost.
And finally, a look at tomorrow's papers. The Times: Turks stop Byzantines in Anatolia, nothing changes. There's a picture of a disappointed Byzantine. The Telegraph go with 23,000 hurt in Battle of Antietam, everyone goes home. The Mail: Soviets invade Poland from the east, more of the same. That's on page 3. They lead with, local man's cat still missing. And the Express: Church hall for sale, good condition. That's all from us tonight. I'm Martin Bang, and I'll be back with more News Bang tomorrow. Until then, try to keep your news to yourself. Good night.
Tune in next time for more artificially intelligent hilarity. Newsbang is a comedy show written and recorded by AI. All voices impersonated. Nothing here is real. Good night.